All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll get started. Did you ever hear back from Eric on the awards presentations?
I have not, but I did, when I talked to him today, that I needed kind of by lunch tomorrow.
Okay,
So what that was, in proclamation,
Yeah.
Mr. Harvey, had a choking incident on the side of the road. 3 folks come up and saved his life, but he's back in traffic and he got in the car and left. But he's found through social media, so maybe a proclamation for Good Samaritan. We'll see. I'm waiting on the information from him. So hopefully we get it all put together.
anything else we'll have under that?
That should be it.
Okay. All right, ordinance 2025-1131, an ordinance amending the zoning and land use control of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code, being zoning map incorporated therein by rezoning a property from high-density residential R3 to high commercial. Approved rezone. The planning commission approved this. This will be the final reading and the public hearing and the final reading on it. And this is that corner property at 43, and I guess that's still Greenwood right there, isn't it? Before it crosses and turns into Canyon Road and ESC. So,
It's gonna look really good. Planning
yeah,
commission.
that's
passed
right.
it.
Damn, you're on the planning commission.
Yeah,
So everything looks good.
looked great, and John's comment, as was Chris's, is it's one of the best prepared plats that's been brought before us. I mean, every little detail is there. There's nothing, he could find anything you could possibly want on it. And Will did a really good job too. So it's
Good,
gonna look really good.
good. That'll be nice to have in Mount Pleasant.
Yep.
Be a nice
Sales
building.
tax. I'm thinking about sales tax in the general fund.
I'm thinking about that too, and I'm thinking
Oh
about
my
the
God,
building
sales-
permit.
Building permit and sales
I
tax.
got a dog wash that's walkable from my house.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's right.
There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Special reports from other departments, wastewater liaison.
So on wastewater liaison and gas, I'll have a full report on Tuesday, but I did want to back up, and let you guys know that, Gilbert Marshall's official retirement party tomorrow at 11 at the fire station at the airport. You're all welcome to come. And then I also put in front of you, we picked up today at Murray Alliance, the 2025 community data profile. They put together every year, so put one there when we create it in front of you guys.
Philip and I were at an executive committee meeting this morning, and we noticed this. All of this isn't exactly right, but that's okay, Kate. There's some errors in there. New business, Corey. Since this is a work session, do we need to suspend or anything? We've got these 4 young ladies here to discuss the library,
Just go ahead.
and I thought it'd be nice with the weather the way it is if we went ahead and moved that forward in that way, maybe, because the wind's not blowing quite as bad out there right now. Philip, you want to talk about it a minute?
Yeah, sure. So this came up several months ago, and it finally come to a meeting. Myself, Mayor White, and Mayor Hutt met with Ms. Rita Parks, the Murray County Airport, not airport, library. But they're requesting to Howard Field, 5.6 acres. They want to build a state-of-the-art library. What did that look like? So we looked at it. We went back and looked at our ordinance in 1985. The county give that to us and put restrictions on it that it needs to be recreation as long as we have it. So now they want it back. So we're trying to get an MOU together if you guys think it's a good idea. But basically, state-of-the-art library for the whole community, and then some type of recreation with the rest of it. The dog park is there, so we would have to probably carve that out and keep it because that was from the Randy Boyd Foundation. But what we did realize with looking back at some of the ordinances and deeds, that in 2009, the library, we deeded it to Murray County. And if it ceased to be a library, it comes back to us. So I think that's the intent as well. I do think it's a good project personally for the community as a whole. I don't know what it looks like because I don't think we're gonna have the MOU together by this meeting or Tuesday night's meeting. But I guess we'll talk through what that kind of looks like and what you guys may need from us.
And I've talked with Daniel Murphy this morning and also talked with them a few minutes ago to try to meet everybody's timeline. So my understanding is that county wants to make a capital request, and so they need to get in line with their budget. we're envisioning an MOU that would say that once they got the funding, we would, and we're ready to do construction, then we would make the deed transfers so that we would keep ownership of it until then. And just to make sure it actually does happen and all of this goes through. And so we would put that in MOU format that would be signed by, it would go through the library board first, and then it would go through, I think, budget, admin at the county, and then us, and then the county. I think that's the timing of how that goes, but it would be a document that was approved by us and all of those people. Yes, sir.
Is there a timeline? How long did it take to do all this?
I think, yeah, that's probably when they would answer all
okay.
those questions.
Yeah, that's why we asked
Yeah.
somebody to
Okay.
show up if they didn't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, that's all I've got. Y'all wanna-
Please,
Here.
you come up here.
Yeah, come on up, Ms. Ruth.
We don't exactly have a timeline right now. You know, we're under some construction or about to start some construction at the Columbia Library. That construction will end in September of 2026. What we want to do is go ahead and request the funds for the architect drawings and the engineering studies. And when we're done with that, I'm not saying we would necessarily have to wait until September of 2026 to start, but it's going to take a little time to get the engineering studies done and get the architect's plans drawn. So as far as the library goes, we'll be ready as soon as we can get everybody else on board. We're looking at maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10,000 square feet.
I just know sometimes it seems like, when somebody announces something,
No, we don't intend to do that.
it takes,
You'll hear,
2 or 3 years, before you ever see something.
We don't intend to do that. We intend to start on it and get finished with it,
Good.
get moved in.
And in the meeting, Rita and the whole group, and thank y'all, they were very straightforward that this is probably a 2 or 3 year project.
Yeah, it won't be immediate, but I mean, we are prepared to get started working on it. And of course, we'll have to bid out for architects.
right.
We'll have to bid out for, everything else, and the architects will take some time.
So in the meantime, I guess they can still play softball or whatever at the
Yes.
field if need be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and that should be part of whatever you all work
Yeah,
out.
we would keep ownership
We come back to
until
the city.
Until-
until they were ready to
So
start
we'll
actual
just-
construction. would
We
be
need
my
whatever
call.
we want to do. with the police department
Whatever
needs
you all
more.
work out.
So could potentially-
Yeah, whatever you and Daniel work out.
We're happy to.
Yeah.
Now, Ms. Knowles had a question.
Lori?
I just wanted to ask, can you just go in depth a little bit more about, when you say state of the art library, can you tell us a little bit more what you mean?
I can tell you my vision.
I want to see your
I
vision.
can't tell you what the architect's gonna draw. My vision would be for, like I said, about a 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art library. That property is sloped towards the back, so there's either gonna be a good amount of earthwork that has to be done, excavation, or there will have to be at least a partial basement area. If it's a partial basement area, that works for me even better. We are looking for something that has an area for the adult collections, the general collection, some place for young adults, the children. We want study rooms and meeting rooms so that people can come in and study in the library, or maybe even have a tutor in the library. Not that we're going to provide a tutor, but if your child needs a tutor and you're going to hire a tutor, what are you going to do? Are they going to meet at your house? The tutor may not be comfortable coming to your house. You may not be comfortable letting your child go in somebody else's home. So a library is a good place to meet for things like that. So we want meeting rooms. We want places for kids to study, adults to study, take tests, that sort of thing. And just good facilities for the community.
Computers for the community to use.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. We have that now,
Yeah, we have it.
but
That's good.
I'm sure we'll have more.
Will the time change on any of it? I guess since you spoke of, tutoring or something like that. Talking about, it being open.
All hours of
Yeah,
operation.
Oh, I doubt it. I mean,
How late's it open, man?
They're not till week. We're open until 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's
I didn't realize
late.
that.
I didn't even, that's pretty late.
And the rest of the week, we close at 5.
So
You
that
all
would-
do
that would
some-
Work out good.
This crew does some marvelous things at your library.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you all have ever had a chance to take part or see any of that. Christmas was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there.
Parking is a nightmare.
Yes.
What have we got? Maybe 5 parking spots total?
And then 2, the bank gave us 2.
And how many children did you have?
At Christmas, I think we had like 140.
It was packed.
150 at Dr. Seuss just made up our.
So they do some spectacular things here, and that needs to be rewarded. We need a better library.
I know our senior citizens go there often too, because they do projects and stuff out there too. 'cause
I see a lot of
we
that too.
Our seniors go there a lot.
The location of this property was really key. One thing that April and her staff wanted to make sure is that it was still walkable and bikeable for people in the area, because we have a lot of people who walk or ride their bikes to the library. And this is still connected to, a subdivision back there. It's walkable and it's bikeable. This particular property is closer to your schools. And it's just easy access, and parking is huge, and we'll be able to have plenty of parking.
In our meeting we had with them, we discussed that property out on, Greenwood too, that's gonna be developed with those 200 homes that are gonna be out there. It's gonna be right down the street.
Yeah.
That's
So,
gonna be big, 200 homes. A lot of kids.
yeah.
It's a lot of kids.
Well, I wanted to say this publicly. Y'all do a heck of a job over there. I see it.
Yeah.
Parking is a nightmare. We don't mind you using the back parking lot at all, and that's the reason we put a couple of signs up. Christmas was great in that touch truck last year, and it's coming up again pretty quick. And that's in conjunction with the library. So, thank y'all for what you're doing over there.
Yes, thank you, April.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hand it off, these two.
Yeah, anything else you'd like to add?
Y'all-
I just want to say that thank you for having us tonight. And, not only would we have more space to do things, but I think having more technology available to our community here that we don't already offer, that really highlights some of the programs that we would be able to do by having a facility like this that's wired correctly for it. That would just highlight everything that we're able to do and provide, to the members of Mount Pleasant and even surrounding areas, because I know we get patrons from, I'm sure Summertown. We get people from all around the area coming to use our library, and if we could provide them more services that they might not have access to, that's what we want to do in this
Yes,
facility.
yes.
And I did not introduce, this is Megan Sear. This is our library director. She came to us this past June, and we're very fortunate to have her. And you all know April White, I'm sure.
Yes.
This is Deborah Davis. She is a library board of trustee member, and she is the trustee from the Mount Pleasant area.
Okay.
Okay.
You definitely have my vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank y'all for being here. Now, please drive safe.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. All right, ordinance 2025-1132. This will be the first reading, an ordinance of the city of Mount Pleasant, amending Title A of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code by increasing the number of beer permit licenses.
So the purpose of this ordinance is to amend the beer ordinance, which is in your municipal code. This excludes the historic overlay area from the 500-foot restriction from parks, schools, and churches. It also adds parks, as you have to be 500 feet from a park to have a beer license for everywhere else that's outside of that area.
Thought it was 200.
We were looking,
Yes.
if y'all remember, a couple of years ago. we
Oh, I
had
remember it well.
the
That's the reason I
Bartow
thought it was 200.
It, is in practicality.
But I guess the parks go with the schools, and I guess, I
Yeah.
think that much difference.
I'm planning on standing up here today.
You got a couple.
But there's no restriction at all for the downtown or historic overlay.
Yeah, so it does have, parks is, 500 feet in the park.
Okay. We don't really have a park in downtown.
We don't, that's based off of the, outside the downtown area.
Okay.
So if we were gonna have something at a park and we wanted to have a beer garden or something like that, we couldn't be able to do that.
I don't think you can have beer in a park already. I think that's a city rule.
Yeah, it's a city.
This is for beer license.
These are beer license. These are like your sales stations, the Twisted Copper that does
Yeah.
on and off and the stuff that people that have to come in and sit before the beer board and ask for a permit, and then it's renewed every year.
But I guess, Chief, when you come in on that meeting I was in on, I guess, if somebody come in and they got a license or whatever, like downtown, they can set up a little
So
area.
if there is a
correct?
function going on downtown, they can come to the function if they've got for liquor, I think you have to have a caterer's license. Like the Mayan up here, they have a caterer's license, so they can come during the function and set up, and they can have a fenced-in area to serve drinks at. Yes, and then Twisted Copper there, they just simply extend off of off the front of their building, so they don't really have to get anything extra for that. But if there's no function coming, you can't just come down here and set up and sell alcohol.
Sell it.
Not happening. We'll take all your alcohol from you.
And one of the things we talked to all you guys about it was, and Michael and Jack are being proactive because they toward the end of their beer licenses. So, for example, a 7-Eleven wanted to come, and I'm holding them up for that development because they weren't able. So being proactive to have more of those.
So our current limit on our permits, our current limit for on premises is 10. That's our limit now. We want to increase that to 15. Our current limit for all premises is 15, which is your Shell stations, your CB. We want to increase that to 20. We're currently at 13. We want to increase that to 20. And then your on and offs, which are Twisted Copper and the other bar. We only have licenses for 3 of those, and we want to increase that to 6.
Other thing I will say, I don't drink, but I'm not against drinking, I will say that. But it's unreal how much taxes.
I was going to say, we get a lot of tax from it.
Well, I mean, it's amazing.
It's a big
It's
number.
amazing.
Sports betting is another big
It's
one.
sports
Yeah,
betting.
sports
guess
betting
my-
that we never thought about all of a
My,
sudden.
guess
it
my
grows.
question is, if you do like premises 10 to 15 or 13, you have 13 now of all premises. I don't think you're asking, can we not make it more like 25?
We can make it whatever you want.
Because I'm just saying, more business come in,
Yeah.
you'll be coming back up here again, asking for some more beer license.
Yeah.
So I
We
just
can- we
think
can
that
do whatever.
20 is 15 is, you know,
I consulted MTS on that, and they said you can make it whatever you want to make it.
But once you go up, you don't go down.
Yeah,
Can't go down.
Yeah.
but I mean, if they're in
Plumbing,
that, in that, boundary or whatever, the footage, it don't, to me, it don't matter no.
Still a limit on the
Yeah,
license.
there's still, there's two
Yeah, there's still
different
a limit.
limits. There's
There's
a
still a limit.
distance limit.
Once
and
we
then-
get to that limit, we're not issuing anymore. So
so if you got the 20 new business, the 20,
so we're at 13 right now, so
Yeah.
that gives us 7.
7 more business come in here.
Yeah, 7 more off premises.
Off premises.
Like grocery stores, gas stations, Dollar General.
So,
Yes,
so
we have
that's
3 of
thir-
those.
Yeah, so
I don't
you'll be at
foresee us
20.
getting another.
I'm just saying,
Well,
you'll
we
be
can raise
at,
that to 25. That's,
I say 25, just because,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, because you're gonna be right back up here.
Yeah.
Cause the business start coming, we getting homes and business don't start coming, and you'll be right back up in a year or so asking for more. So I say 25,
For off premises.
yes.
I'm fine with that too.
So you have, your notes, Michael, had off premises was 15 and on premises was 20. Is that backwards?
that's backwards. Yes, I'm sorry. Our maximum for off right now is 15, and we wanted to do 20, but we can do 25.
We're gonna go 25.
Let's say on premises 15.
We currently have 5, so that gives
I
us
think let's
10.
give us a
That's
little room. I'm
probably
okay
good.
with that.
On 15, okay.
And what does on and off mean?
So on and off is like the Twisted Copper, where you can go in and drink at the bar they have inside. Then you can buy a 6-pack and take it with you.
Literally on and off.
Yeah.
premises.
Here again, you can't walk down the street with it.
You can if it's closed.
What good is that gonna do you?
If it's open, we're gonna take it.
Yeah,
Do we want to move that up a little bit?
Leave us alone. We want to walk with beer.
Can't do that.
Just leave us alone.
Philip and I were talking about it a little bit this morning. City of Clifton used to have, and they still have it, it's just not as big. They used to have the Horseshoe River Bend Festival, and they did it the best I had ever seen in my life. They put a fence up. You been?
The blast.
It's a blast, isn't it? You cannot believe how much fun this festival is. But what they would do is, it was basically, it wasn't fenced in, was it? But there was a gate you had to go through, and there was a
corral.
police officer standing there. And when you came through, if you intended to buy any alcohol, and Alter Gobble did it, his wife, and the civic organization sold the beer.
Oh,
And what they would do is when you'd go through, you had to show your ID to prove you were 21, and they'd put a strap on your arm, and that was the only way you could buy beer.
yeah.
And then if you got ready to leave, you had to go back through there, and there was that same police officer standing there. You had that cup in your hand or that beer in your hand. You do realize if you go through that fence, we're going to arrest you. You remember that?
What happened if you had a little too much?
Well, but I thought that was so cool how they handled that. And they had a bucket sitting, a trash can sitting right there. You can put it in that. Everything's gonna be fine. So,
What's the name of it?
Horseshoe River Bend Festival.
We're gonna go there, take notes.
You gonna put that on your bucket list?
No,
It's not big like it used to be anymore.
Resolution.
I went last year, and it's kind of sad how small it has gotten now, but golly, I saw
Where is it?
in Clifton. I can't tell you who all. I mean, they had Daryl Worley. They used to have some great acts.
Little Texas was there.
Little Texas. I mean,
You know a
they-
lot about.
Corey's been there.
well, you were going to school down there, weren't you, I guess?
Yep.
Yep.
It's fine.
Okay, everybody fine with what their new recommendations were with the changes going up? Okay, good. Michael, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Resolution 2025-4, resolution of the city to authorize the city to enter into a professional service agreement with Civil and Environmental Incorporated on zone meters.
Mayor Commissioners, I've given this bill a couple months now. We're not ready. Thought we would be, so hopefully next month. And Dale's working hard with them to get that right. So,
Okay, so that'll be off his agenda.
yes, sir. It won't be on the agenda.
Okay. Resolution 2025-14, utility collection. I bet that's yours, isn't it, Corey?
Yeah, so the purpose of this ordinance or resolution is to update the existing utility adjustment deposit collection write-off policy. The changes will reflect the current procedure. The new policy will be included in your packet, and all of the changes will be highlighted, but Schiffer can tell you what those changes actually are.
We just match the actual document to what we're doing right now. So there are certain things that were in there. Like it said, the cutoff fee is $25. Well, the cutoff fee has been $75 since before I got here. And in some of the other ordinances, it says that the cutoff is 75. The website says it's 75, but somehow that exhibit on that resolution still said 25. And then the rest of it is mainly collections, how we do collections. How when an account gets delinquent and has been cut off, how do we treat those accounts going forward? So this policy said that after 180 days, that account's written off. Well, technically, after 60 to 90 days, they're in pre-collection where we're still trying to call them before we turn them over and affect their credit. So all that language has been changed. Like she said, it's going to be highlighted. It is still 180 days or so that we turn you over to collection companies. But before you go into that, the way the language was is saying we directly turn you over. No, we put you in pre-collect, which means at this point you're on our radar. We're trying to call you before we turn you over. And then the payment plans part of the section needed to be updated. And while we were updating that, there's an ordinance that's referenced in there, and that's 2017-1010. And the way that ordinance is written, payment plans are only to be paid 2 weeks after the due date. We have been allowing people to do payment plans up to 6 months or so, and some of them, in certain cases approved by the city manager, they've been done even further, depending on the cases and stuff we may. But the ordinances said two weeks, like after the due date, you have 2 weeks to come and pay 50% of your balance, and then after those 2 weeks is up, you come and pay the rest of the 50%, and that's as long as we'll work with you. That is something we have not been doing since before I got here. So just updating some of this language, and some of it was brought up to my attention by previous auditors. Like, it's not necessarily a finding, but it's just something that they're like, hey, you may want to update these documents, because there may be another document that says the right thing, but these older documents are just saying we're doing some things that we're not doing anymore. So just updating, it's cleanup.
Clean up.
So we have done a few of those extended payment plans, and I have signed a couple that went up to 6 months. They have to put at least, was it half or a third down?
I think it's half that they have to pay down.
And then go 6 months. That seems to work pretty good, because some of those are pretty high balances, and it would end up not getting paid. So I think that's a good thing to set a limit, like half down, and you got 6 months with the regular bill. It seems to be working a little.
So that would stay the same?
We're just gonna keep doing that instead.
But our documents need to match that we're
kind of
doing
set a
that.
precedent on what we've been doing.
Right.
It says that the city manager can
Make those decisions, yeah. City managers and the utilities director, so we've been trying to make sure the documents are getting done the way ordinance is written, but every one of those documents is being signed now by Philip, but
I think, is it me or Dale, but I think we've got 2 going on right now, so, and they're half down at over 6 months with the regular bill.
and we're watching them. It has helped those people out. So at the end of the day, providing better customer service was the goal
Right.
behind all of it, and those people are appreciative. So that's the good part. And
Okay,
we do
can
have,
help, let's help.
and there's also leak adjustments and stuff. We do provide those. If you have one major leak in a 12-month period, if you can provide proof that you had that leak, we still do all of those. And most of the time, payment plans are for people who were leak adjusted. So all of that is in there too.
Yes,
So.
sir.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Resolution 2025-15, delinquent property tax lawsuit. Corey,
make.
same as always.
Yes, so the purpose of this resolution is to vote to enforce the collection of the delinquent city real property taxes for 2023 and to ratify the delinquent tax lawsuit that I filed on April 1st. So there's a deadline for April 1st, so we went ahead and filed, and you'll be able to see the delinquent tax lawsuit. That'll be in your packet. It's only for real property. There's a list attached to it that's certified from the city. There's $22,000 in delinquent taxes. I can report it last year. As always, we sold no property, so that's always the goal.
Yep.
If you recognize anybody on that list and you feel like maybe they haven't really received notice or anything, contact them. The sooner they pay, the less money they pay, because at this point it's been turned over to Chancery Court and it's kind of out of our control. So.
Any other questions? Resolution 2025-16, Connected Facilities Community Center Grant Contract.
Commissioners, we finally received the contract from the state. It'll be in your packet. And Corey's still reviewing it, but it's one of those state ones that but it's for 1.9 or $1,980,000, and our match is $220,000. So that's what'll be in your packet.
We discussed this
Mm-hmm.
pretty much in depth for a couple of months. And it's nice. It's going to be nice to see it. Resolution 2025-17, 904 Studio Architect Design Proposal for the Community Center.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is the design, like you had said, with 906. It is, the agreement will be in the packet. I know Corey's still reviewing it, but it's, the design is 181,404. You can't deal with those numbers that much. But that's a part of the grant, so our match is 220, and that's within that whole scope. I don't have this digital. I've shared it with the parks, but here's the concept that you guys will, look at. We still have to go to the pricing, and once all this is settled, to see how to unfold. But we're confident this may be what it will be.
I don't know.
I've seen it.
Everybody seen it? Good.
Wanted to share.
Cool. Any other questions? Nonprofit budget for 25-26, and you've been provided a list here, and we'll kind of go down through them.
Yes.
First one is animal
Animal
shelter.
shelter,
At 17,000 is their request, and my opinion of this, it needs to stay to the current contribution. In our meeting Friday, Mayor Butt sat down and she said, I came down here to ask for more money, and she said, but I realize you only get about 6 dogs a month.
Mhm.
And she
And we
said,
did
so
do
I was
13.
coming to ask for money, and she said, I think I've decided I probably don't need to.
We did do 13 this year because in the amendment, we increased it to the 3,000 more dollars, and we wrote that check a few weeks ago. So we did go from 10 to 13 this year. So whatever y'all want to put there.
13.
My proposal would be 13. Because those were her words, if you'll remember, and I'm sitting there going, can't believe she just said that. Of course, we were at the table
I'll
negotiating.
13.
Yeah, whatever. And if you all, I'll collect these sheets back up. So what it helps me do is this will help me put the final numbers in the budget based on everybody's opinion.
Absolutely.
I think it's good to point out too, this is just so we know when we get to budget. that's when
Correct.
we'll do the
That's
final.
what-
And that's what I put in the little box, like, please enter the amounts that they wish to recommend for per nonprofit for budget presentations in May. At May or June meeting, you are still able to say, in May especially, you're able to say, hey, let's change this amount, so then I can redo the resolutions or something if you do want to change an amount.
All right, next year we got South Central Tennessee
Can I-
Development.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
On the animal shelter, I understand that we went up 3,000, but we're also getting ready to add hundreds of new homes, and that's more people and more pets. And I think that for our town and the community, the rural areas, it's not just what gets picked up in our town, it's the rural areas and different things. I mean, even if we gave them another $1,000, I would like to see us do a little bit more, just to show our support for them, because it is a lot of work. And then when we have storms and things like that, where these areas of our country that are getting hit so bad and pets are just out, that's who takes care of all this till they find the owners and they're able to come get their animals. I would like to just do a little bit more.
Let me say what I know,
Mhm.
and Sheila told us this Friday. There's some things going on with the animal shelter. She made the comment that they think they may have to cut the city of Columbia off, or that the city of Columbia is gonna have to build their own. They're not donating what they feel like they should. The lion's share of this is coming from the city of Columbia, and the city of Columbia is a heavy, heavy weight on it. And I mean, $1,000 isn't a lot of money, but the request from the county mayor was stay where you are, basically, because she openly told us, Philip, that there's some, I mean, she said, see, we're probably gonna have to do away with the city of Columbia, and they're gonna have to build their own.
Wow.
Which is going, from the way I read between the lines, that's gonna free up a lot of availability at the Murray County Animal Shelter.
Mhm.
Now, and again, $1,000 is not a lot of money, but I just don't want to set a precedence with Sheila, because you don't know her.
Mhm.
You give her 1,000, she's gonna want 5. And I don't want us to be in the fray.
Yeah, I
Does
understand.
that make sense?
Well, yeah, and if they're looking at bringing them out of it, then that's a big difference.
And then, this is just for one fiscal year. We could always go up later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna look at it again next year.
So why not? I'm fine with the 13. So that we give them now, with what they pick up was now.
On the South Central, I was just gonna
What's the
comment,
$5?
It's instead of 1,000, it's 1,005.
I know,
this
but
year.
what's the
But it's
$5?
based off of population
Okay, all right.
calculations they do. So these two, South Central Human and the South Central Tennessee Development District, those are really not as much of a nonprofit, but because they are a nonprofit and we write them a check, they're more like membership fees that we pay to be part of their organization.
Right.
So we usually, they ask the same amount, and if the amount changes, is if our population changes. So I do expect the amounts to at some point really change. But I think the 1,005, it's actually, I think may actually been 1,005 even before.
Okay. By the way, the Development District and the Human Resources Agency has a new director beginning on the 18th, and it's Paul Rawson. Paul is a wonderful guy from Lawrenceburg. Paul has been running the Human Resources Agency for about 5 years out of Fayetteville. And what they are going to do is Paul is now going to manage both. And in a lot of the development districts, that's already what happens. This one was still, as they told me, I'm on the board, is that it's somewhat antiquated that this one was still, but Jerry was still out there and had been there forever. And they're going to get, this is going to help them get lean. And Paul and I've already talked. I've known Paul a long time, and he said he goes in on the 18th, and he said within the first week you and I need to have lunch. I said okay. So you're going to see a big change out there. Murray Alliance. Go
So
ahead, Mike.
it'll be 1,005.
It's 1,005 and
$5.
765. It's been, I've thought about taking it off of the spreadsheet, and maybe I should bring it up in this meeting, that way in the future I can just take it off. It's really a membership. If we want to be part of part of that
that's-
organization,
I'm
it's
good.
those
We
are
do.
really like
We want to be a
memberships.
member of it.
Yeah.
Lori Fisher gets us thousands, millions of dollars
Yeah.
in grants for $1,000.
Yeah, we're gonna stay there.
Murray Alliance, I know Philip has had a lot of conversations with y'all. Guys, the work they do for us is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And in a meeting this morning, they have got a big capital campaign going. What Philip was $1.2 million is their goal, and they're at about 82% of it as of right now is what has been committed. It's not been collected. It has been committed. So any thoughts on that? I know Philip has met with each of y'all individually, and thanks to each one of y'all for taking the time to do that.
Thank him.
Yeah.
I just think Mary Alliance do so much, especially out there at Cherry Glen, and getting recognitions here in Mount Pleasant. I think they do a fantastic job.
I agree.
Giving them that is so much worth it. We get our money worth.
Yep, we sure do.
So I have no.
Like you said, just with Cherry Glen alone.
Yeah, look what it's brought.
Knocking on the door. You can't
Yeah,
touch
so look who's
prices.
knocking on our door right now.
So
So
that's 25, right?
They've
Yep.
asked for 25.
Okay,
We've been giving them 5,000.
Right. well, I'm good.
Airport 5,000 remains 5.
yes,
Museum requested amount 2750. Current contribution 15, so it'd be an additional 1250. And I
The
mean,
main thing is we already pay
the light.
the electric
Electric.
bill and stuff, but they want us to pay for their trash bill. We pay for the gas bill. I wonder if the electric company does their electric bill, but I need to double check that. But they just want us to pick up their trash bill as well as what the increase is. It's not gonna be anything that we actually write them the money. We just pay the rest of their utility bills that we're not covering.
So it'll be how much?
She is asking for 2,750. We were doing 1,500 before, so it's an increase of 1,250. But like I said, I don't write the check to them, so we could give them that much. But
it's
if
an
the
in-kind-
utility bills are lower than that, the funds just stay in our budget.
it's an
Okay.
in-kind
Yeah.
contribution is what it is.
It's an estimated amount based on, what we pay. Every month we get their utility bills, we pay them except for trash.
Okay.
I just know every year, they do try their best to try to get more and more, and this is actually the first time
Yeah, we've all,
It's actually made it on the books.
And I
I actually received a written request. Usually I hear it verbally and I'm like, till I get a written request, I can't do it.
Right.
I get to talk to Miss Sherry just about every day, and she does have a lot of great ideas and really trying. So hopefully when everything opens back up, it's a really unique place and
Yeah.
It is.
very valuable.
Yep.
To our community.
but Mike,
I guess I might have messed up. I've got the South Central Tennessee Development District at 1,005.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the South Central Human Resource Agency.
765.
It's gonna say that-
765.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. Everybody's good with the museum?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know.
Main Street. current amount's 25, the new requested amount's 25. I know here again, y'all have all met on that.
I just say, on that, leave it at the 25. Cause I don't think they wanna come into the city. So my opinion is just to give them that 25,000 we've been giving them.
For one more year and then step back and look. Mike?
This is just my opinion. My opinion probably,
Yeah, it matters.
Yeah.
but I mean, when I think about downtown and I guess, you know, who's ever over it, like the other person, whatever reason she left, whether
Angry.
it was that, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you know, MCI owns, I guess, 90% of the businesses
Yeah.
downtown. So to me, I'm just saying, you know, they're the ones that really should be calling the shots, but whoever is in charge should report to our city manager. That's on, you know.
Ooh, well, you bring up a hard headache. We've been looking hard at this, Mike, really, really hard. And let's just say I've had more than one heated conversation over this because if it's gonna report to the city, it needs to be a city job and we need to write the job
Well, that's
description
what-
and we need to be doing that, but we need to, that's why I'm in favor of one more year. Let them get this figured out. And we need to do our best to stay the heck out of the middle of this doggone thing.
Right.
Everybody in here shaking their head yes, because it's
I think the reason the year is important is because we did jump through a ton of hoops and a lot of stuff was done to get us in the Main Street, you know,
Yeah.
part of Main Street, in the state.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to just throw that away because a lot of money was spent, a lot of effort to get us there. So if we give us one more year to figure this out, because I feel exact same way. So, but I don't want to lose what people worked for the last decade to get us into Main Street. So, that would be my only take.
But I guess I have a little, and I may, again, be speaking out of turn, you know, from what I hear, but that's just like, you know, the barbecue festival. You know, I guess that board or whatever wasn't really for the barbecue festival or whatever,
But this is,
And I
we,
but they do work hand in hand though, right?
Yeah,
it was a designation though. It has nothing to do with the festivals. It's the designation that we worked really hard to, this chief
Well, I understand,
that
you know,
represents us. The barbecue festival is a whole nother, you know, that was,
we let them pretty much put it on, but it's always been like a city event. So if they don't wanna do it, the city will do it.
city's gonna do it.
So we're gonna do it regardless.
the last time we did it, they didn't do
What
it.
does Main Street do? That the whole community can participate.
Grants,
Grants, they do a lot of grants, and it's hard to get in, I think,
And-
to Main Street to get approved to be a Main Street downtown
it sure
area.
is.
So I know a lot of people did put I sit on that board, so it does takes a lot. But I'm like Mr. White here, you know, it need a lot of work, I think.
Restructuring.
You restructure,
Yes,
yeah.
Citywide,
exactly.
community-wide, not just 2 blocks.
Yes.
That's my.
What does it become? That's the best way to put it. What does it become more than these 2 city blocks?
Yeah.
And I think we have go ahead. So we got like a little thing with them that we supposed to provide.
Yeah, so said it when I met with y'all. I think Main Street's a good thing. How do we make this work? I don't think it's a good idea to bring that position on the city, and we have not put it in the budget.
No.
I do agree with the 25, like you said, because they did work hard. We passed that resolution in 2020,
Yes.
and their goal is the preservation or the historical preservation of our downtown.
Downtown.
And everything else that comes with it, it comes with it. So they do strategic planning. They should be collaborating with us, private industry, try to make that
Get
come
more money,
together.
yeah.
And I think that's, hopefully they can still do that, and hopefully we still support it, because I do believe it's a good thing.
I do
But I
too.
think all of you make really good points. And just so I want you to know, we have not put anything in the budget to do that
Right.
for hiring.
And I don't think we're at the point where we could hire somebody right now. We got streets we want to pave, and we we got other stuff going on, and that's more for the city to take on, to try to pay a director or park board
Whatever you
director,
wanna
yeah,
call
whatever
it.
you wanna call them. It'd just be too much for us right now. You know, we want streets paved.
Right, I agree with you, but that's what, but the $25,000, where does the
It
25,000?
helped pay for
I know
the,
that, but where does it go? Who gets the $25,000 and decide where it goes? Is it the board?
We write the check directly to them, and then whatever their organization does with it, again, you being on the board, maybe
I
able
think
to
that
talk
help
more
pays
about their
for the director they
financials. but-
hired.
They
It
hire,
goes to a director,
it pays the director.
like Hagley was our Main Street director,
Right.
it helped pays for her salary.
But what happens if MCI says we don't want this board? What happens to our?
Well, that's their buildings, but I think Smelter gives them a donation as well.
Yeah.
They give 35.
Thirty-
35,000, yes. So, I don't know what happened. I guess they'll just get that 25,000. I don't know, Mike. I mean, it's a good
I mean,
question.
And I've
I see
already,
what you're
I'm
asking.
just, you know,
and I've already asked the question.
I see what you're asking.
Smelter has already made their donation this year. That's the reason why I'm for it one more year. Smelter
See.
has made their donation.
So, some things that the Main Street has helped the city accomplish in the past. So like the historic zoning committee,
yeah,
we have a historic zoning committee which has a historic zoning overlay. Y'all use that historic zoning overlay today for your beer ordinance.
Yes.
So those were things that Donna Morency, who at the time was the director, she helped the city put those things in place. She copied, or talked to a bunch of different main streets and helped create one that worked for us. And that helped us to get this Main Street designation. So there's a bunch of steps, and the next step after that is the downtown designation for historical, and then you get a residential one. That's the next.
whatever the
That's all.
problem is, I hope they do get it dissolved or whatever, you know.
You say as far as getting the buildings rent out from MCI?
Well, no, I'm just talking about whatever, I guess, if MCI don't like what the board is doing,
No, that's not the problem. Not at
that's
all.
not the problem.
No, not at all. The problem,
Well, that's
how
all.
do you say
I
this?
don't know. I know what you're
in the
saying, but
process of a reorganization. like
That's
everyone
exactly
said
right.
earlier,
They're going through a
reorganizing
reorganization.
every entity, finding out what its job is. Like Columbia has a really good Main Street
Yes.
program.
Yes.
We've talked about modeling something after them, but maybe not quite like that. Like I think they put on First Fridays,
Yeah.
There's different things that they can do in the community, but my understanding is the Main Street program is kind of getting new leadership and under different kind
So
of.
there's no way we're gonna lose 25.
No,
no,
not
Mike.
at all.
No.
Okay.
No.
No. You can,
Talk to you guys about that, and Columbia has a great Main Street
They
program.
do,
They
they
do
do.
hire that director.
Yeah.
But when I met with them and I looked at their financials, because all online, they do a good job of that. They have a $46 million general fund, and they $120,000 a year goes to hiring someone and some marketing. We have a $6 million general fund, and we get 25. Apples to apples, we're doing pretty good
Yeah.
for our program. Now, as we grow, we can do more
Yeah.
and make it warp into something like Columbia, but we're not ready for it.
No,
We're not ready for it.
not ready for it.
And plus, you guys give us direction and strategic plan for paving streets and sidewalks, and it's in there. It's in there. Now, we can do what you want to do, but it's in there this year. It's in there.
And that's what I was gonna just add on to that. When we get into the individual commission meetings with each one of you for your budget review, and I was gonna actually email those out either tomorrow or beginning of next week so we can schedule, because it's the last week of this month is meeting one-on-one to go over the budget. I usually schedule about an hour and a half to review it. But you will notice in the parks budget, we have some of the events that the city wants to support, or we've received back feedback from, or Philip had received feedback that the city would like to keep doing, like the fireworks we did it in conjunction with Main Street. It was a city and a Main Street event together. We have all those funds already budgeted in here to go ahead and do the fireworks. We've been meeting with the fireworks group every other month to try to make sure that event is successful. So we had actually had those conversations with Main Street last year, somewhere between November and December, saying that we're ready to collaborate, and if there's expenses that you want us to pick up on events that you really are like, hey, I can't do this, I also have like other expenses to pay for, other events to pay for, it means more to the city, and as the city, if the city wants to do that event, then we budget it in the parks budget. So we've got fireworks, we've got ribbon cutting for downtown next year, and we have
This year.
the Scarecrow this year, and the Scarecrow Festival and
Yeah.
stuff for all. So all of that is in our budget, that when we go over, we'll list all those events out, but we've budgeted pretty much 100% of the cost, because either way we go, those events are going to happen. So the 25 is what they requested. That's the only item I received in a written request from them, so I put it in here.
And any other conversation on it? Mike, you understand why?
Well, I do, but
I understand where you are.
but I mean, as long as you probably know more about it than
But
anybody. Let me just say
Let me
that.
just say
But if
this,
you're
if
okay with it-
Smelter hadn't already given their donation, I'd be in the
Me
same
too.
boat. You and I'd be rolling. But I verified that they had made their donation.
I do know they had they got a meeting coming up, like this month, I think.
Through Main Street?
Oh,
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know. But they have cut their check.
that's good. I'm good.
All right, Senior Citizen Center, we're going up $250, and that's
Yes.
well deserved.
Yes,
They put on a great program over there, particularly once we get the
Building
center
done.
redone.
yeah.
Any questions?
Mm-mm.
South Central Area Transit, again, this is part of the Tennessee Development District and Human Resources. This is a much needed project for the, particularly for the handicaps, that they will come and pick you up if
I was
you've got
gonna
a
say,
problem. And
the
then,
trolley is going
Gone
away,
away.
but they're still asking for the same amount of funding for the on-call service.
Yeah. and if you look at who they have to pick up and what it's,
Yeah.
what was Michael said about the shelter? There's no way in the world we could buy a van for $6,185 a month.
Mm-mm.
We couldn't even pay the insurance for that,
Mm-mm.
for what they do.
I cannot imagine the insurance on an animal
Can
shelter.
you
I
imagine?
should have probably,
No,
I
I'm
probably
talking about-
know the number,
I'm
but I
talking-
don't
I'm
right
talking
now.
about, no, I'm talking about a van,
Oh, the van.
just one.
Oh, just one van, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the wheelchair lift and
Oh,
everything
yeah, all
on
of
it.
that, yeah.
Any questions on that one?
Mm-mm.
And then a kid's place, it's a new request. I can tell you that, tell you something like that. $1,000, it is a great program, folks. They take at-risk youth that, Columbia Police Department, Murray County Sheriff's Department, those guys are heavily involved in it. I don't know if you guys ever get involved with them,
Mhm.
but they are looking to start doing a little something down here.
Yeah, they're real big in Lawrence County, and that's where we used to take all of our kids for forensic interviews, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and now we're fortunate enough to have one in Columbia, much needed.
Isn't this headed up by that,
Go to Lewisburg now.
Yes,
isn't this headed up by David Morgan? Or was?
two of us. I'm not sure about
I
now.
don't, but he's a good,
Yeah, yeah,
he's a
Yeah.
great guy.
So
They
is
do
this gonna
great
be
work.
one here?
it's in
Columbia.
Columbia.
Columbia, so we
Columbia.
haven't done that one.
They
Okay.
did the ribbon cutting on, was it Monday?
Monday. Did a proclamation.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
seen a
What's a good
report,
one?
I went,
I forgot.
I know,
I seen a report somewhere, and I don't know,
I had to be
there was a
called.
lot of people from Mount Pleasant. I went back to try to find it, and I can't
So
find it.
she emailed me a letter, the director, Charles E's, I cannot say Charles E's last name, but she emailed a letter that said
Yeah.
how many kids are in the
Yeah,
program right
that's-
now from Mount Pleasant. I
I got it right
It
here.
amazed me,
It's
you know.
amazing.
It is, you know, and you feel sorry.
I think right now Lawrence County has the highest numbers in the South Central region, but then Murray County is coming.
Right there.
Hopefully they'll work with the churches to help them out.
We've been trying to work with.
I don't see it in here, but we got it, and it was talking
Yeah,
about how many
yeah, I
at-risk.
remember, but I went back to try to look, and I couldn't.
Yeah. All right, everybody okay
I'm
with
good.
that?
I'm good with it.
All right,
I took, you're good.
you're good, we're good, we're good,
21,
we're good.
21 kids from.
She does not
I
get
was- I had
It's
to
worth,
find it. They didn't
it's
have
worth
the calculator.
$1,000.
Yes.
All right, CT form for 1.2 residential meters. I know Phillips met with all of y'all. We know what this will do. We think this may pay for itself over time.
not an
just a-
action item.
Yeah, it's just a FYI item
Yeah.
that we filed it with the state.
You need these back?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
It's all right. I think she wanted you to do what you did, Mike.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what you did. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I just wanted to make sure. I kind of put the same numbers because otherwise the budget numbers will be changing.
Oh, okay.
You don't have a vote. I was like, you don't have a vote. And it's not really a vote.
did your
You can
homework
still
for
change it when we meet, but I just needed some sort of a
Yeah.
consensus to actually be able to put it in the budget.
All right, street and paving plan, Philip.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Commissioners, you passed resolution 2024-32, and that was to develop a street and sidewalk analysis and plan. KCI, which is a good company, they've had a lot of turnover, and they haven't got to it yet. So I talked with Will and saying that, well, I think we're going a different direction, because we're putting together, I don't want to wait another year on it, it's already, it's been a while, and they're okay with it, so if we cancel or rescind it, they're good with it. No money's been passed, and
Good.
we're gonna add that to our street capital plan next fiscal year.
Good. Good.
So this won't be on the agenda then, right? Or
I
It's
guess
not a
it'll have to be.
resolution. You just vote to rescind
rescind?
resolution.
Resolution.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right, Airmine's bid.
Mayor and Commissioner, we did receive 3 bids. We'll have a recommendation with you.
Cool.
And we'll have for Tuesday night. You want me to call out the numbers now, or you just wanna wait for packet?
I think everybody can sleep on it.
So G&M Construction was 35,548.10. That was the lowest bid. Wayne Vandenberg was 52,875. And then KCS was 94,450.
I don't need to sleep on it.
So we did, G&M Construction done a lot of work for us. This was a sealed bid, and that's a sealed bid. We met with him on site to make sure, hey.
You sure?
Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, no, I looked at all that. I'm good. So
It's not gonna be one of them change orders.
and if it's in the scope, we can't change it. That's what we said. It's in the scope. Now, if it's outside the scope and something pops up, that's different, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
we were like, you sure?
Good.
So, you sure?
Well, maybe he's just honest.
That one for 90,000
Yeah.
or something, they were gonna have a hot tub in there, marble
She said we
floors.
have to go.
Oh, dear Lord. They better have for that difference.
And we normally wouldn't do that, but he does work for us, and we wanted to make sure that he didn't miss anything.
Yeah, be fair.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Well, let him know. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
He local.
Yeah,
Oh.
his building's
Downtown.
around there. Go ahead, tell me.
Downtown work change directive.
Philip will give you the details on this, but during construction, several unexpected events caused need for the change of scope of work that was performed. So this is to authorize work change directive, which is an instruction from the city to the contractor to do certain work. It's something that we do when time is of the essence. There'll be a change order to follow. This is work change directives 9 through 14. The engineer's estimate is that these will total 157,339. I don't know why I said that number like that, but that's the amount. So the engineers have recommended that the commission approve the works change directive with as presented. There's actual documents that'll be in your packet with a change order to follow at a later time. So we're just directing the work. They would come up, we would have a meeting of the minds of how much that would cost and any additional days afterwards. But you can see like what they're asking for and what it was for in those work change directives.
Philip.
You want me to go through the 9 through 14, like we did the other day? I'm not gonna pull up pictures or anything, but.
I know y'all met on it, and it's,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah,
with
it's,
it.
I mean, why in the world we do this work with not coming at least to right here with
Yeah.
the paving and on
Right.
getting bluegrass right? I mean, come on.
I think the biggest, and y'all know it, the biggest part of it is rebuilding Halong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are carrying the payment on further, which is not in the scope, but.
He's
Right
there,
thing.
yeah.
You spend that kind of money and not do that?
Right, raggedy.
Yeah.
That's it, ratchet.
Yep. Coaching background check. I know.
So Mayor and Commissioners, I did present this to the Parks Board last night, and Michael did a good job. Michael Hay and Chief Hay and Chief Burgett did a good job of presenting that. It did pass unanimously to go for
Good.
that. I won't bring Michael up to go through it, and I actually won't put my PowerPoint up. I know he don't like it, but I'm going to. just to make sure that you know exactly.
I'm so happy about this.
It's not just 3 slides.
You brought
It's a
this.
great 3 slides, by the way.
It is a great person.
3, good.
Before we get started though, one of the things, this has come up several times and I think twice since I've been sitting here. And I finally got with Michael and Jack, I was like, can a person reform? And we think so. So they put together a pretty good plan. It's not loosening anything, but they moved some things around. So I think it's good for us. It's good for the people that's reformed. And it's still, we're not really,
Good for the city.
good for the city.
So I'm gonna start and I'm gonna pass it to Jack. So the way it reads now, if a coach fills out a form, a guy fills out a form, male or female, fills out a form to coach. The form comes to us, we do a background check on it, and the way it states now is that, any sex offenses or any violent felonies, that's it, that's what it says. And then there's some misdemeanors, 7 years on misdemeanors. A lot of things can fall in violent felonies that are not really violent felonies. So we feel like that we needed to break this down a little further. We needed to show all the classes of felonies and put some restrictions on the classes. So, and that's where Jack came up with this plan on the felonies.
So what we did, of course, all sex offenses. No.
Continue to be no. Any kind of sex
Our
offense.
recommendation would be no. A class A felony would be anything, murder, aggravated kidnapping, anything that the state of Tennessee would classify as a class A felony. No. We would recommend that these people would not be approved for coaching. Class B felonies, they would be approved or recommended coached by us if after 15 years with no other convictions, and that would be carjacking, money laundering, aggravated robbery, vehicular homicide. We went down, which is actually increase on some of them, decrease on others. Class D, C, D, and E, be a 10-year. So, time of their conviction, 10 years later, they get no other trouble than they would be recommended to coach. And some of those robbery, aggravated robbery, extortion, possession of a weapon by a felon. And we feel like that gives people an opportunity who might have done something in their younger life that they regret, never do anything else. They can be a role model to younger youth. That, hey, you can't mess up, you can turn your life around.
Right.
And then we jumped on into, we actually reduced misdemeanor violence and misdemeanor drug and alcohol. It used to say 7 years.
It was 7, we reduced it to 5.
If you can stay out of trouble for 5 years,
Probably all right.
that's great.
Misdemeanors are probably 75 to 80% of what we deal with. on a daily basis.
Okay, cool.
The other thing, anybody, a lot of people have a hard time. They fill these out, these forms trying to coach. They've still got cases pending. They haven't been convicted, but they've still got to go to court. So we recommend that they not coach because they still have cases pending. Also, if they're on probation or parole, we're recommending that they not coach.
Jack,
Makes sense.
Phil,
sir.
can you back up one?
Yes, sir.
I guess what I just have a little, make sure I know exactly what I'm saying. On sex offenses within the past 10
No,
years.
sex
No.
offenses, no.
Sex
Okay.
sex offenders, no.
Okay,
Back in
okay,
No.
all
It
right.
says other than.
Oh, okay, all
Any
right.
sex offense.
Okay.
They all had me on the PowerPoint. They all went to the felonies. They didn't go to the first one, but that's okay.
Sorry. I mean, that's not the one that was good, sorry.
Will
Yeah,
not be
Davis.
approved.
No.
Okay.
Will not.
He didn't highlight that, I thought he would, but
No.
it's a good job though.
Excellent slide.
Excellent.
He does a great job, PowerPoint.
And it's needed, folks.
Yeah.
We need some coaches.
Yeah.
And there's some folks out there, I forget who I was telling, good Lord knows, we've all made mistakes in our lives.
Well, we need something with a little teeth, and this gives it
You got more of a guideline.
You do.
Well,
You've
and
got
the
way
other
more
thing
to go.
about this, what had previously been used When we got to research, it was nothing but an action item. Mentioned that voting on it as an action item now.
It's more of a.
Would this be resolution? What resolution is? What do you think?
Sure. This is the first time saying this part, but I think last time it was part of the coach's ordinance. It's back when y'all put together a policy for anybody that wanted to coach.
Maybe the Parks and Rec.
There are several Parks and Rec
It's in part of the
ordinances.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
part, that's when they adopted it the first time, I think it was 2017. But, so it was adopted as as a part of that.
That was when they had to
We
rent,
can, yeah.
pay money for the,
Mhm.
uh,
And they had,
fields.
it was a coach's charter, or
Yeah.
league charter, that's what it was, but we can do this by resolution, just approve the official background check.
Okay.
It's for everything, right, or just for,
It's
Yeah,
for
it's
any,
everything.
yeah, coaching.
Yeah, it's anything, it's
You
useful
get
in city property, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Everybody good with it?
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right,
guys.
no general comments from citizens. We don't have any. Laura, you got anything else?
I don't, just living. I'm gonna take it all in. That's it.
Pam?
No, I'm just so grateful that we made it through all the storms in this
Amen.
area and
Willie?
had a lot of basements and closets, but we didn't.
Yeah,
we
that's
came
right.
out unscathed.
And Jennifer having a season.
Oh, music on the porch starts this month.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
At Jennifer.
Week from this, 2 weeks from this Saturday.
Yeah.
Willie?
I don't have none. I just think the employees that we have, y'all do an awesome job. I appreciate everything y'all all do. I think we got a great staff.
Yep.
Y'all make our job easy.
I say amen to that. Good.
I'm gonna tell you one quick story. Everybody needs to hear this, and I brought it up this morning at the Lions. Last Monday, not this past Monday, and I can't tell much about it because it's, non-disclosure agreements were signed, but, I want to compliment Philip and these gentlemen sitting in this room. On Friday afternoon, we got a phone call about a potential opportunity at Cherry Glen Park, and it's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
it could be very nice. And they requested a meeting. And on Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock, we were at South Central Tennessee Development District with Chris was there, Dale was there, Al Kirsteins was there, and we pretty much hammered out in what, an hour, what?
Gives it the professionalism and the details from Dale and Chris.
And Chris.
That's
And I'm
easy
gonna,
to get a meeting together, but to have those details and to impress, it's hats off to them.
and I got a phone call after it from, we feel pretty good about it. Because they even had their contractor and their engineer at this table. And I've never had this happen. The contractor got my phone number from Travis Grove. He called me and he said, every city in the United States ought to operate this way.
All right.
Well, that's good to hear.
That is. Good,
Man,
y'all.
y'all oughta-
I mean, that,
good to hear.
that was, that's,
But
that's
now,
big.
but now, if these people come back and say no, we.
It's okay, it's okay. It's still contract.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion. You gonna make the motion?
Oh, we don't have to, not for this one.
well, turn it off.
Oh, do we? I mean,